Today I'm going to be working in a mini ring-bound junk journal, and as you can see I've already been working on some of the pages, so I'm going to show you what I've been working on and then we will do a few pages together. So this is a junk dory by Grace and Salt Ink, which if you have been here for a while then you might recognize that name because I did used to be a brand ambassador for Rebecca's ink dories back in the day, and she has reopened her shop. And so with making the ink dories again, which are the leather bound notebooks, that means she's also making the junk dories. So the covers are made from the leather offcuts from making the leather bound notebooks, and so each one is unique in terms of the size and the shape of the covers, and then they are bound with a ring. So I've got one here that is really teeny tiny and landscape size, so mine just has the one ring, but the taller ones will have 2 or 3 rings, and I really love the size of this. So they come bound with a bunch of the standard junk journal papers with like book paper and music sheets and things like that, and I have also gone ahead and added papers of my own as well, because you can obviously undo the rings and add in your own papers or switch things around. So it's been a really fun format to work in because I love my smaller journals, and I have filled this with all sorts of different scraps and bits and pieces, and it's already quite chunky, and I'd say I'm only not even 20% of the way through it with how much I'm adding and all the different papers that I'm working on. So I just thought I would give you a little bit of a tour almost of the pages that I've got currently. So like I said, there's a mix of the papers that it came with, and then also I couldn't help myself. I just started adding all sorts of bits and pieces. Basically anything that was lying around on my desk that was vaguely this size, I thought, well, that's perfect to add into this little junk dory junk journal. So I have this little page at the front here which is a really different size, and so you'll see as I go through these pages I've done different dimensions of pages just to play around with the more scrappy feel of this. And so I decided to call this journal Pieces because I feel like that's what it is. It's pieces from my life, from my desk, just bits and pieces basically is what I feel like this journal is becoming. So I thought that was quite fitting, and I added a layer of tea-dyed tissue paper over the top, and I'm kind of thinking that it needs maybe some florals or a certain accent. But the great thing obviously about the rings that I'm finding is that you can just take that out and work on it separately. I'm just thinking watercolor abstract florals, but in a really soft muted palette would look quite nice on this. So I've got a little pocket here that I've put a rub on onto, but honestly is kind of too small really to put anything inside of, so I think that will just have to be decorative. Then I've got a page here that was made from an envelope. If you can imagine, there's the back of it, and I've just folded it in on itself, hole punched it, and then popped it in the journal so that it became a tuck spot here. But then I put some collage over the top of this, so that's kind of stuck the tag down, but it just became a little tuck spot there, and just a different shaped page for the edge of this. So I just started adding cut out words and a bit of a leaf pattern going on there, but there's definitely room to add other things to this page, and of course the back as well. This was something I really enjoyed doing. So as I was doing a bit of a de-stash, I found some leather samples that Rebecca had sent me whenever she did her previous leather journal collections. I thought it was fitting to add it into this journal, and I did a little collage just with a stamp and little bits and pieces, and I thought that was really sweet to add into this journal because it was already hole punched as well, and so it just fit perfectly. And then I've just got like a random assortment of stuff in here, which is I think what I love about junk journals anyway. So I've got like a bit of packaging here that I hole punched, added a tag onto it. So not everything in this is finished. There's definitely like works in progress going on. So like this page here, I folded it in on itself and stitched down the edge here. So this part is technically a little mini pocket, and then I did some collage and little found words, which I know I've mentioned I've been doing in a lot of my other journals as well, and they are the perfect size for this journal too. So this is kind of similar, except I used acrylic paint to push back all of the words that I didn't want to be shown on the page, and then just like sort of cut it out with the paint, if that makes sense, and then just added like a stamp and some other bits and pieces. Now the eagle-eyed amongst you may recognize this, because this is a piece that has been floating around in my journals. It's been bouncing from page to page and it hasn't really found a home, but it was almost, apart from the bit that I had to fold here, it was almost the perfect size for this, so I decided to add it in here, and I really love the pop of colour that it gives, and it definitely fits the theme because I literally painted onto some packaging. So you'll notice as I go through this, like there's just bits of packaging and scraps of things. So like, you know, here this is obviously from an envelope. I've got another envelope here, but this is a transparent one that I have collaged onto, and then just all sorts of bits and pieces really. Like this, I literally like went round and cleared up some bits from my desk and just decided to stick them on here. This is some packaging that I've just folded in half just to make a little bit of a tab here on the side. I've been working on different pages and just adding bits and pieces here and there, and also just like tucking in bits of packaging. So this is like the backing from something. I think it might have been stickers, a little bit of stitching here because there was a map page and I just kind of traced one of the roads. I mean, I don't know what that will become, but I just thought that was interesting, and just like sticking little bits and pieces down. This was something I really loved because I attached a piece of tissue paper here with a collage onto it, and then just made it more of a like interactive element, and I really love the ghosting effect there of the tissue paper. This page here that I've kind of set up, so I'm playing with like the long format of this journal. So this is literally just like from the band that goes around a piece of yarn, as you can see, literally junk, and I've attached it with washi tape to one of the pages here. So I've just added it along the edge there so that it folds, if you can kind of see how that's added. So that way then it kind of tucks in, so it works as the edge of the page there, and then it folds out like this. So I just thought that that was a fun page that I could then use within a journal like this, because obviously it's quite small, which I do love. I'm trying to think of like creative ways that I can add more space to this. So things like these fold out pages and the tissue paper additions, and even like adding little like pages that's pockets and things like that, all helps to add interest to a little journal like this. So I don't know if this is going to show up, but this is literally just sticker backing paper that has a really faint, you're probably not going to be able to see it. It just probably looks like I'm holding up a white piece of paper to you, and you're probably thinking, Meg, I can't see anything on this page. But I promise you, there's a really dainty, like raised pattern, like raised flowers on this. And so that's why I saved it, and I thought that it would be nice for using within something like this. And then I've literally just got all sorts of random bits and pieces, and then these are some of like the book pages and the maps that are included with the junk dory. So there's lots of like these fold out pages, which I really love, so I'm looking forward to working on those as well. But I just interspersed it just with my own little bits of like ephemera and bits and pieces that I collect. So this here is actually from some packaging. I think it was like a reed diffuser, and I had to keep the box because I thought, well, that is just a really nice box. Did I buy the reed diffuser just because it had a nice box? Possibly. And I'm sure you would have too, but I just decided to peel some of the cardboard and you know, to make it like a thinner layer, and then I added it onto this page here. So I thought this would be really nice as a layout, so maybe adding something along the page here, for example. So I don't know, maybe even one of like these cut out onto it and make a collage. Maybe we will, do you know what, I'm going to take this out because maybe we'll just work on that page. So this is just a sheet of music paper, and I had a junk mail envelope, you know, where they have the window, and the window of the envelope was like, you can see it here, it was literally the exact size of this piece of paper for this journal. So I decided to sort of wrap it around like this, and I just glued it at the back. So you know, don't look here, I'm obviously going to do something to that, so I will add a tag or something into that eventually, but I just thought that was a perfect way of adding like a pocket, but there's not like a huge amount of bulk, so it just happened to be like the perfect size for that. And so yeah, just lots of different papers and offcuts and all these things that we love to save for our junk journals. Like I've just got like an envelope here that I've folded in half, and then I obviously punched out some stickers to make little circle stickers, and then I've wrapped the leftovers around this for some reason. So yeah, I've got like a top down pocket here that I can probably add something to, and then I'm thinking maybe like adding a paper clip or something, obviously, so whatever I put inside doesn't fall out. And then another pocket here at the back. So yeah, again, I think anything that I include that is in a pocket, I'm definitely going to have to put a paper clip or something onto it so that it doesn't fall out, because we don't want that. I am just going to work on this piece here. So I've got all sorts of papers around me here on my desk, so I just pulled out a few bits. So I've got like pages from an old sketchbook that I had pulled out from another project. I've got like packaging, bits of papers, music sheets, brown paper obviously, and I've got like a stamp and also some bits of washi tape as well. So I think the first thing I'm just going to do is cut out this floral image here. So I pulled out a few different ones, as you can see, but I think this yellow will actually go quite nicely with the green on the page that we've got to work on here. And so whilst this is fussy cutting, I'm not being like too precise, I'm just sort of roughly following the outline of the flower, because once it's cut out, like nobody's actually going to know. So like, you know, no one's going to be like, well, where did the leaves go? It doesn't matter, I couldn't be bothered to cut them out. That's just the truth of the matter. That's what happens sometimes. I just think, do you know what, I actually don't really fancy cutting the leaves out, and so I just make that like creative decision that we're not going to have that on this page. And I think it's fine because we've got the greenery. I just want to create a bridge between these two pieces so it's not so random and harsh. So I'm just thinking this could lay here, and then let's bring in some of this crumpled brown paper, one of my favorite things to add to my junk journals. I feel like they appear on pretty much every single one of my pages. So I've just been really enjoying this little format of junk journal for like little 5 minutes where I want to create a page. So that's why I've done so many of these, and I haven't really done like process videos or anything. I've shared pictures over on Instagram, but it's just been really nice to have like 5 minutes to just pull out one of the pages and just like create a little bit of a collage or something like that, and not having that pressure of like creating a whole page, because the dimensions of this I think are, I want to say like 2 inches by 4.5 inches, something like that. It's not massive at all by any means, and so it's really not that intimidating for me to pick up and start working on this little junk journal. So I just added a little bit of washi tape on the edge there, because this is definitely becoming one of my little like collage cluster areas. So I'm just going to grab my white pen and just add a few details. Okay, so I had a little bit of a panic moment there when I realised that I hadn't used my stamp, and I was like, okay, let me just add some stamping, and then it just didn't look right at all. Like, I completely threw off the page and totally had one of those I wish I didn't do that moments. So luckily some tissue paper, bit of paint and white pen to detract has, I think, come to the rescue. I don't know, inadvertently created a little bit of texture to this piece as well. So let's pop it into the junk journal. And so there is the little finished page inside this junk journal. So I hope you enjoyed the process of this page coming together and a little peek inside my junk dory. So let me know if you'd like to see more videos of working in this little journal. I've definitely got quite a few journals going on at the minute, but I feel like this is a space where you understand, like, we all have so many journals on the go, and so I'm really enjoying working in this one. And you might have seen I put a little poll on the community tab on YouTube here, asking if you would be interested in seeing an altered book series in August. Not like altered book August or anything like that, but just working in an altered book happens to be August, you know? We're gonna keep things chill, but I just have been feeling an itch to start another altered book because I haven't made one since I finished this one that I worked in, and I know how much you all loved seeing the process of this one come together. Now, this one did take me, I think it was like over 2 years to complete. Yeah, but I really enjoyed the process of working in this. So there was an overwhelming yes for this series. So keep your eyes peeled for a video. I'll probably do one that's like a bit of a prep of maybe like getting started with the book, and then doing the cover and working in some of the pages, because I definitely learned a lot doing this one. Like, I didn't do this 100% correctly, so there's definitely things I've learned, and so that's what I wanted to share with you all. Not like a perfect, like this is exactly how you do things, but just like a realistic, you know, let's have some fun customizing and working in an altered book. So stay tuned for that, and yeah, let me know if you want to see more of these little mini junk journal pages, because it's so fun just to work in one of these for, you know, 5-10 minutes and create a little page. So I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one.